Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the cross stitching runner, and welcome to my channel. I want to say a big hello and welcome to all new and returning viewers. If by chance you've stumbled across this channel is all about cross stitch with a bit of life stuff thrown in. And today is Thursday, the 9th of April, and it's not often I film on a Thursday, let alone during the week, because life is good. Life is really good. Today is my first day of being a free agent, not working. I wrapped up my paid work yesterday, and life is good. How long that will last, wait and see. But it does mean that I have a lot more stitching time available. And I'm also filming today because I'm at this really nice point in time with the AFL stitching challenge that I'm doing. And I have just finished my stitching for the end of round 4. Tonight, round 5 is due to start. So I feel like this is just a really nice, sweet point in my stitching to be able to share with you my progress and also share with you some plans that I have for stitching now that I have a bit more time up my sleeve. So let's get into it. The first project that I have to share with you is called Four Seasons Kittens. Sorry, I'm just looking down at the cover page just to remind myself the name of it. Had an absolute mental blank. So the Four Seasons Kittens, it is a Gold Dimensions kit, one that is probably one of my oldest whips, if not the oldest. So with the Four Seasons Kittens, I have it attributed to the Geelong Cats, and this is where I'm up to. Please excuse the hanging threads. With Four Seasons Kittens, I have put at least 68 stitches into this one. I'm using all of the called for colours and fabric and such. By memory, this one is an 18 count Ada, and I've been focusing mostly, I guess, around here where we see the hanging threads. It is predominantly tent stitch at the moment, and I'm enjoying how this is coming across, coming along. Yeah, it's all cool. So with this particular piece, I really wanted to focus on where the green, different shades of green are, because I had mucked up a little bit with the stitching and I just wanted to get that fixed up before I progressed with the rest of the stitching. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is called Black and White Rolled Up Daisy. It is a hot cross stitching design, and this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. It is based on a photo that I took several years ago. I'm stitching this on 18 count Black Ada using DMC threads, and this is where I'm up to if I can get it around the right way. So with Black and White Rolled Up Daisy, I have put at least 87 stitches into this piece, focusing mostly on, I guess, some of the darker stitching that is near one of the petals. At the moment, with 87 stitches, especially for a piece like this, it's just a drop in the ocean, sadly. So hopefully Collingwood can win a few more games. That said, because it is AFL, Collingwood is one of those pain in the neck teams. They're a very good team. They have won quite a few flags. When commentators are calling a Collingwood game, regardless of who the opposing team may be, the commentators get very excited, and Collingwood are known to carry on like they have won the flag. Collingwood. Anyway, I won't go too much ranting and raving about that. The next piece that I have to share with you is Pelicans by Country Threads. Now, with pelicans, I actually had a bit of a stressful moment with this piece because I thought that I had lost a part of the pattern. So this is pelicans and what it will roughly look like when it's done. So with pelicans, what I had done was, because this is a two-in-one chart, I had removed a couple of the staples that keep it in a nice booklet, just so I could stitch the pattern. So that's where a part of the pattern was loose, and I was borderline of actually using a spare chart that I have to actually help with the stitching. But thankfully, I was like a puppy dog with a bone and just wouldn't let go of the idea of knowing that I had this loose chart floating around somewhere. And perseverance prevailed, and I was able to find the part of the chart that I was missing. And it meant that I was able to work a bit more on the pelican's body and get that filled in a bit more. And I'll just fold this over a bit just to help with seeing this a little bit better. So yeah, this is pretty much where I'm up to with pelicans. I have put at least 163 stitches into this. The Swans won their game quite convincingly against the West Coast Eagles, and it was really good to be able to get 163 stitches into it, because with pieces like these, putting at least 100 stitches into it, you can start to see the difference in the progress for it. So I'm also stitching this on, I think, 14 count Ada. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is called Pisces, and I do have a cover page, but the cover page, the ink started running it out a little bit on when it was printing out. So I'm just going to bring up the mock-up for it. So this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. It has the quote of Pisces. Not everyone gets the same version of me. One will tell you I'm a beautiful soul. Another will tell you I'm a cold-hearted arsehole. Believe both. I act accordingly. And I've been focusing mostly on a bit of the blue stitching that we see for the blue fish towards the bottom. And this is where I'm up to. So as we can see, towards the bottom of, I think it might be the one of the fins or a part of the body of the blue fish. I love working on this piece. Once I start getting into the groove of it, I'm able to get quite a lot done. So I'm just checking my notes, and I was able to get 384 stitches into Pisces. That is 161 stitches more than I needed to. So that sort of shows just how much I love working on this piece. And when I get into the flow of things, that it really comes together. It also helps that Port Adelaide won both their games in rounds 3 and 4. So that definitely helped a lot. The Swans did have a bye last week, so I quite possibly could have gotten more stitches into Pelicans had they played last week. Now, the next piece I have to share with you is called Carousels. It is a new piece as part of my rotation. And Carousels, if you're new to this channel, is a piece that I'm going to be aiming to enter into the Canberra show next year. And the other cool thing with Carousels, I'm just trying to find the cover page for it. The other cool thing with Carousels is that I've also got it assigned to at least 2 teams in the AFL Stitching Challenge. And with Carousels and these particular teams, I'm not actually expecting them to do all that well. And when they do actually win a couple of games, it's actually a bit of a surprise, going, oh my God, I actually get to put some bonus stitches into carousels. So this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. I'm just trying to get the camera to focus a little. I have started in the center of this piece. So in terms of the center start, it means that I am focusing near the center of the carousel, and then I'm also getting a bit of the yellow background that we see in the sky behind one of the carousels. And yeah, it's been nice doing some of the solid block stitching on that piece because it's pretty confetti heavy, at least the area that I'm working on. So this is where I'm up to. I have been able to get some extra stitching in because West Coast Eagles and North Melbourne won a couple of games. Now that now that West Coast Eagles have won a couple of games, they're probably not going to win anymore after this, just based on their track record, at least recent track record. And I'm stitching this on 25 count Zweigart printed fabric. So I guess the mottling or whatever we see on the fabric here, it's only on the one side, it's blank on the other. And I'm stitching it 1/1 using all of the called for colours. And with carousels, I was able to get a minimum of 380 stitches into it, mostly because of North Melbourne and West Coast winning their games, but also the Easter long weekend made a big difference. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is called I'm a Custodian, and it is a piece that I am getting ever so close to finishing, and it is one that I will talk a little bit more about in my plans. But to help put into perspective, with I'm a Custodian, I have put in at least 103 stitches into it, and I've got 2,813 stitches left, and I would love to think that I'll be able to get it done. And I'm just trying to find the cover page for this one. We'll get there very soon. Okay, so this is roughly what I'm a Custodian will look like when it's done. And this is where I'm up to. So it was mostly the black that I worked on for this particular piece. Yeah, it's been nice to actually work on a slightly different colour this time because some of my other stitching has been on the castle. And yeah, we'll get there. It's all good, all good. And yes, I did mention that it was 103 stitches that I put into it, and the retreat that that one is part of is at the end of April, so that's going to be talked more again at the end of this video. Now, the next piece that I have to share with you is called Fight Like a Girl. This is the cover page of what it will roughly look like when it's done. And this, as we can see, designed by Tanya Amity, based on the illustration by Elena Zhnenkova. And the cool thing with Fight Like a Girl is that it has seen a lot of love over the last couple of weeks. I have been able to put 352 stitches into it, and where we see, I'm assuming it's Hermione with the blue and white striped scarf, I found out around near there that I missed a line of stitching and I marked it off on a chart. So I'm going to need to do a bit of creative stitching with this. The really good thing is that it's a full coverage piece, so I'll be able to absorb things quite nicely in it without too much drama. So that is my progress with that. Okay, so I've got some things plastered to my monitor screens. I'm just double checking some things. Cool, I'm doing all good for time. Okay, now the next thing is I've got 2 more projects to go, and then we'll be updated with my stitching. Okay, so Spanish proverb is the next piece that I have to share with you. Spanish proverb is a bit like the Pisces piece, where once I get into the groove of stitching it, I just almost lose myself in it, so to speak, where it just flows really, really well. And I'm just finding the cover page. Okay, so uh, this is roughly what it will look like when it's done. Again, it's another hot cross stitching design. And the quote is actually based on a quote from the movie Strictly Ballroom. I'm stitching this on 18 count Ada using DMC thread. It's a fairly wide piece. I have focused mostly on the butterfly for this time, and sadly, Hawthorn, I think they only won one game over the last couple of rounds, and so I've put at least 92 stitches into it, but I really want to put more into it because I was, at least today, working on a couple of areas where it was just this one color and it just flowed really, really nicely. So I found it hard to put down, but I also had to remind myself that if I finish my stitching for rounds 3 and 4 of the challenge, I'll then be able to film this particular video and then be in a really nice spot for round 5, which is starting tonight. So before I get into all of that, we do have one more piece I have to share with you in terms of progress, and that is Trio of Dogs by Luca S. And I've got blue tack on the back of this cover page. This is roughly what the piece will look like when it's done. I've been focusing mostly on the chocolate Labrador, and I'm just starting to get into the Golden Lab as well. So it's coming along pretty well. And this this particular piece hasn't been ironed. I put it away, but somehow thought that I had ironed it. So it is what it is. This is where I'm up to, and I have put in at least or a little over 99 stitches because the Bulldogs won their game in round 4. And this is pretty much it for all of the stitching. And I guess we'll get into a little bit of plans, a little bit of life stuff. And I'm just looking around to be sure that everything's all sweet. It is. Okay, so I guess a little bit of life stuff. The obvious thing is that my hair is now purple. I put a bit of dye into it on Easter Sunday, and I guess it was just a little bit of a celebration of me nearing the end of my contract for work. And it was a bit of a bittersweet thing finishing up yesterday because it was the first time in a long time where I've had a set contract of a period of time with work, and it felt weird that I had actually met the full term of the contract where for majority of my working life, I have had a full-time job and I've just been, it's been an indefinite time frame, and it was just a matter of, okay, work on these pockets of work and we'll get things done. So it was quite weird being able to just say, yep, okay, thank you all very much. It's been a wonderful time. Fantastic seeing familiar faces and meeting new people as well. And yeah, it was kind of weird yesterday. Especially when I was handing in my building passes to the security guards who I have seen at least twice a week, if not a little bit more, for a good part of the 4 months that I was working there, and they're both really friendly blokes, and it was always good to just be able to wave, smile, say hi, or whatever, as part of walking past the desk to go out for lunch or at the end of the day, whatever the scenario is. And yeah, it was there where I had felt a little bit emotional and a bit sad, where I was like, oh, okay. Um, but with all of that said, there's a possibility that some more work may come up with my now previous employer, where yeah, the opportunity may come up where I might be able to do some more work with them again. We'll wait and see. Um, with all of that said, when I was dyeing my hair the other day, I had a scene or a few vague lines from the movie Grease in my mind where the character Frenchie dyes her hair pink, and the one of the waitresses from their local hangout was like, "Oh my god, your hair looks like an Easter egg." And so it had me chuckling in my mind, thinking about that because I was dyeing my hair on Easter Sunday of all days. So I actually think tonight I might need to put a little bit more hair dye in just to refresh it. And yeah, it yeah, it's just something a bit fun, a bit different. Um, yeah. So that's all that. I'm also looking around because to my side I have the couple of patterns that one of which I'm keen to start on. So we're going to talk a little bit more about plans for the moment, and I've already hinted a little bit with I'm a custodian that I'm wanting to get it done, and I'm also very much keen to be able to get a lot more stitching done for or on carousels because of the goal that I have for getting it finished by the end of January next year. I probably will be talking a lot about that particular deadline in future episodes, so please bear with me on that one. With carousels though, it's nice seeing that come to life and starting to see other parts of it, yeah, show up in the picture. And in terms of the project or picture on my side, a couple of weeks ago when I had attended the monthly Canberra Cross Stitches catch up over at the Hellenic Club, one of the ladies I've got to catch up with was working on custom crafts fire and ice piece, and it was one that I actually had also stitched and finished several years ago. So this is the fire and ice, and this, when I can get it, this is the finished piece from several years ago. And what I learnt with this particular piece was to make sure that I have all of the threads for the piece, and making sure that I have enough of each colour in the piece, because the story behind Fire and Ice was that I assumed that I had enough of one of the 900 colours. So I think it might have been, say, 916 or 918. I can't remember the exact number. But it turned out that I ran out and I didn't have any spares. And I just assumed that I'd be able to pick up some more of the DMC thread from Lincraft or Spotlight or wherever I could. It turned out that between breaks, between drinks, whatever the wording, DMC had changed the dialogue a little bit, and it turned out that the colour that I needed was just a little bit lighter than the other colour. Now, there was a possibility that I might have gotten the numbers confused. I hadn't. And I was lucky that a few months later, there was a craft show in Canberra, and I was talking with one of the vendors, and she had confirmed, yeah, DMC had changed a bit of their dialogue. She had about 3 or 4 skeins left over at her shop up Queensland somewhere, and she was able to help me out, and I was able to get the skeins that I needed. But with all of that in mind, with seeing the lady at the cross stitching catch up the other week or a couple of weeks ago, it got me thinking about its companion piece, Golden Eyes. And I'd asked her, okay, do you have Golden Eyes? Did you know that it's got a sister or a companion piece? She hadn't known, and it just got me thinking in the back of my mind, going, yes, I've been wanting to work on this for ages. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'd mentioned as much to her as well. So on Saturday, we're scheduled to have another catch up down at Woden. So I'm going to take this along with me to show her, okay, this is the pattern. But I'm also now actually keen to start it myself, because I've actually checked my stash of fabric, and I have Blackada. It's 14 count and it's the right measurements for working on this piece and making sure I've got a little bit of a border. Now that I've got so much time on my hands, I would love to think that I'll be able to, I'm checking on time, cool, 3 minutes, that I'll actually be able to make a start on it. And I'm near tempted to digitize the piece to an extent and get it into Pattern Keeper, or even at least photocopy the chart and have a working copy. I already have enough pieces, and it would end up being a scenario where I start it, then set it aside, and I could end up running the risk of having dye lots change and all that jazz, and I don't need that happening. I'm also trying to convince myself that if I finish stitching zebras, that that can be my treat. So if I can get zebras finished, then starting Golden Ice could be my treat. Okay, I'm going to need to finish up filming this Flosstube so I can get on to stitching zebras, because I've got spare time. Yes, I know I need to work on carousels. Carousels will get finished, I have no doubt, because I've also figured that I won't stitch all of the, checking time again, I won't be stitching all of the stitches on it. So, okay. I think I've convinced myself I need to get onto zebras. Thank you all so much for spending a bit of time with me, hearing me ramble on a bit, and surprisingly, this particular floss tube didn't take as long as I thought it would in terms of me talking and all the jazz that goes with it. And I'll catch up with you all in a couple of weeks' time, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get the notifications, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Catch you all later, everyone.